because say no me matoka me be register me nya nipa no me talk no for kwabrekyiri me nsam emra ni free home mra na say me ntimi register ntimi me nya bibia am de abo ho
because say o person also be break 8 now when you dey break 8 because mama Ghana think too much mama come dey mumu didi ska akase
It's the start of a new year, and obviously people are up and running with their businesses. Well, work has started and everything is running as well. And as is typical of Ghanaians at the start of the year, well, people would love to register their new vehicles. And that is what has brought us to the 37 office of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, the DVLA. Well, what's happening here? There are some new reforms with regards to registering vehicles, which not too many people are excited about. We'll get into the more details of all of those, and you'll get to understand and appreciate more why people are unhappy with these reforms. My name is Echi Atiso, and this is Say It Loud on GhanaWeb TV. First of all, we'll hear from someone who knows the ins and outs of what these new reforms are from DVLA. Then you better appreciate what the issues are. Let's take a listen to him. So first of all, what is the challenge with the registration of people's vehicles this year? This is a new year. What are the challenges?
Okay. The challenges that we're having now is DVLA is trying to tell us that without biometric or without verification of the previous owner that imported the car, you can never register your car. But between us, DVLA knows how Ghanaians trade their car, how we buy their car. You know, some of them, we buy the car at the garages. Some also meet, the car dealers or the owners of the car where he thinks he can purchase the car. Purchase the car, all you need is just drive to any customs office, verify the documents and the car. If it's legit, you pay, you do your agreement that I've bought this car, blah, blah, blah. So all you need from the person is the person will just give you his Ghana card, his passport picture, sign a form C or a transfer letter that shows that he has sold the car to you. Now, if you have those things and you come to DVLA and you want to register your car, DVLA is going to tell you with all those things you can't register unless you get the importer, in which we know how we trade our car. You're assuming I've sold the car to you, I've given you my particular, that's the transfer letter, the Ghana card, the passport picture. The person is gone. And most of the cars have been bought by the burgers and their wives and staffs. This is the case, they are not in town. And they are trying to tell us, without the importer, you can't register your car. And people have their documents since from last week, Tuesday, they can't register their car. All because the importers are not around. And DVLA is not trying to, give us any, they're not even meeting people halfway to tell us how we're going to go about it. Or is just bring the importer before you can register your car. And then which is wrong. You don't get it.
Just give me a fair idea. How many or what's the ratio of people who are affected? And because we are referring to used cars, right? Most of these cars are second-hand vehicles. Exactly. We're not talking about fresh cars from
mechanical.
So what's the kind of ratio we are talking about?
We are talking. You know how many people can purchase a car from Mechanical Lodge, Silver Star, Auto Plaza, or CFU? You know, this garages and stuffs, they do sell more than. To my opinion, they do sell. And you know, assuming you are outside, you've shipped a car to your mother or your brother. Oh, okay, this is a car I'm buying for my father. But the car was shipped in your name. So in that case, if you're not in town, your dad can never register the car and use it. So that means because of registration, you have to come down before the registration.
So that means there's a need for the person to be here physically to do the registration.
That is what they are talking about. And the person should be here, Krana. It's not something that is going to be like 30 minutes or something. It takes almost 4 hours. Or they will tell you the network is not working, the network is bad, and blah, 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 blah. In which, DVLA is, they are, I don't know how to put it, but they are.
Now, it's obvious it's a new reform and all that, but those who are affected, so what's the way out for them? Are they just going back, not being able to do anything, and
going back without doing anything?
And I'm asking this question because I know it's a human institution. Doesn't this create room for people to start doing corrupt things? Because obviously there has to be a way out of this. Somebody would have to pay, maybe in a way, to be able to get things. Are these things not a great worry that the DVLA should be?
Because people are even crying, because if you have a car that you've paid a duty and you want to register a car and you're passing all this treatment, this headache, people doesn't understand. Ghanaians, the moment he goes and they tell him this, then he will be there. He doesn't have any option. He doesn't know what to do.
So what, people can't drive their cars again?
People can't drive their car. People can't drive their car.
And the DVLA is not doing anything about this.
All they will tell you is try and locate whoever sold the car to you or the importer.
But can we understand what is the reason for the DVLA to have arrived at such, if I can call it a draconian decision, very extreme, for the people who sold cars to be physically present before you can go ahead and go through the process of registering? What's the motivation for that?
I don't know, because all they are saying is it seems like they are tired of this from C's and back and front and the registration to us. Well, people, I don't know, maybe their mindset is people normally, steals people's car by registering without their consent and those. So I think that is what they are trying to avoid. But I understand that section, but if you're trying to avoid those criminal cars, and it shouldn't affect people who have their legit cars. Because people have their legit cars with their legit documents in which they can't register, or because they can't find the importer, in which is wrong.
Okay. Kwame Mensa, me pacho now also how then e koswa how much you say it's registration at the way how many na pa also what the anything.
Yeah, ha bebre pa ne say niam omo de aba no. Also omo nya ntobo ase na omo hye bibia yi. Because never be wa also omo sat free habo. Because so be akokra car afira buchira ba no ono san akọ. Na so ye bere san DVLA ono mra metua mra DVLA de enye.
It's what the anything car omo start
sat free habo. Because nipa ne kraka ne ba ho ne yi no. Omo ye bibia ho nti wa be kwa akoto no ba ya no ba ha direct no register.
Okay, it is say almost say nipa na oton car na ma ono emra no mo den kra na mbetimi mo ne mpanyifo na akasa.
Ukakura almost they said the whole Ghana baby sa no person mo ye no.
It is an person mo ye ndem mbe nda register nkofo abo nkofo am register mo cars.
Nse say no say enioma no say ntimi register a car nti ya twen say DV beba. DV ni pia beto ade abo DV no abo car no yam register.
It say DV number place number.
Enu nto muti manim pia. Enu pie ba pe ye beto no bi de abo car no.
O chere say DV number place name pie.
Pie 2024 May.
Mai.
Because say no me matoka me be register. Me nya nipa no me toka no fan kwa brechiri. Me nsam emra ni free ho mra. Na say me ntimi register nti me nya DV am de abo ho. Na say me de car ne nam. Abanso hia sika nti sika na mu hia na mu lusu no.
Na DV no say e wo duration. Want me use DV for the whole year.
Next year mesa tobo ho.
It DV na wo to
tobo ho. Say ewu 1 year me tobo ho. Me register afibia me tobo ho. Because una hia sika so de ye o man ye. Na wo ye say Ghana so mo Ghana wo nya car, omo ye car, da be na omo so omo start car wa. Nti ni mebi o so omo start free habo. Enipa no wo de car be ba no, habo ho no bibia wo benya no bibia no mai bibia wo ho. So obi kura akoyi car aba be duty. Obere seka na omo si duty no abroso nti won san fa car no ko habo back. Duty na abroso, on fa car no ko habo back, on san ko kakra duty na nsamra back. Abra ban hia sika obi na tua sika na abroso a. Wo a custom ati a fa ho be customs na otia no fa so be na wo so. Obi akraka wo tua duty abroso ebi a 200 Ghana. Wo so san fa ko back. Obere seka. Wo custom officer fa so be ye ntua ka. Nti wo mu hwe bibie MPP aban no so wo tena wo pese wo kɔ 20 hwan ne dia won start ye no homework ne obelusu because ade na omo ye no omo fi so omo profit no so en kakra said o to obi afo so obi anya dwuma na o sa won so ye obi bia kakra nya se force a wo gina so se ne ya na o so kra bibia na abrafo no omo start bibia na kakra omo start ya nya so omo bitin ya na o yaye we nto omo tombo ase na omo nya omo ne ma kakra na enim se de ne a ade bia oba start bia kakra be koye computer wo bako omo to office okra bebre na nim last time ye ba ye wa ha say no omo afre boy ba ku free outside on na ko kire omo am so omo na ye adwuma me atu omo ka omo nim nti so omo kire omo ni nyina wo school oh region bebre obi free obo ase the whole last week up to no man start car ba akope obo ase o man car ba akope
I'm start registration on 2nd of January
car ba akope no man say obo ase omo kwa DVLA no omo check the whole Ghana afi bia omo hwe DVLA registration now no more register no mo hwe we no mo saban no rusu ana wo rusu onso wo to won kasa.
Your Burma is also one of the elderly men here who have been helping people register their vehicles, and as well we'll do this in Chi.
Boko.
Na answer you started idea na metisa wo kasa wo ichiroza also how on say
me how on say em say ye nyina ye take registration no ba me how ba kopa e ha me say DVLA for a muti inside no me kuta me number e dey abaye lances not lances no say me phone ayra let's say me dey me number near 2 numbers na me dey ba ko be ba mo be je me 125 35 cedis ah wo je e kwa aban ho ana say kwa hwan ho
mobile number na say
mobile number nya mobile number because of lances o ba be renew am so for our lances number bra phone number bra let's say phone number no ayra so mo jo 135 cedis e dey tell so e kwa be na che so mo je 135 cedis no
eno omo je omo mo receipt
omo me receipt bia receipt be no de my omo me receipt na be say Minister of Transport say one na ma order say road at wu a 1 month yemfa direct consentum because mo purchase say mo ye mo te aban mu bibia mo ntia abonte mo ye yentie hwe yentie yombe ko opposition because MPP no won cha NDC and won cha other party bia me member me kuta me card me pacha me cha MPP ampen for say ku for person break 80 dia and won start in homework ye because a driver for the draw so Ghana ha any goal for boys o man see be the goal about any draw so because any anya ba adwuma no draw so see o mom ya ba adwuma no it is say adwuma na ye so ba begunu dia ye ma to aba ma megu ya adwuma it is so Minister of Transport na aka tro mu say road at wa o muntum o see yan race car okay say ni pa no but me fan say me na made car na ba ewu so ho yare ho na say ni pa na wu a me nkotu ni firi na emra ansa ne ma lance car na ma me wo emfamra kwam ena me nua mu ka bi say because say o person also be break 8 na when you break 8 because mama Ghana asenke too much mama come dey mu didi ska akase this me look am ka chom o me ko position straight
na ade we omoye no mu hu ne say e ade papa na omoye
pato ade papa nka o ba ki etiti duase enya ade papa because we kwa ka say go inside so obi mo ska say ko jigred sam ka ma untimi register because kan kutawo ya nye no register on dem pem che no enipa mebre we verse enso mu nim computer ana meboa but mu ya say mu nim computer o mo teto ho nim computer obi abonti de fa no akwakoye so ho ti side na aban aye no onim hu bi aban nim hu bi because bibia no beba aban nim hu bi bibia no baba aban nim Minister of Transport onim hu bi na no me say efri vice president was say important ama yan register car na wo your man panyin na so do be tram mu a na obi free abroach obi free other countries but they obedi ye wa Ghana na wo krom ma for the umi ayen ti won hwe ne ye da kaka me kan no me frem ya obema Elias Boboski me amini.
So that's it. Obviously very high tensions here at the DVLA offices at 37. You've heard a number of these guys extremely unhappy about the new measures that the authority is implementing, hopeful that we'll register people. Ejebrobe is one of the leaders in this area. He's also called MP, the MP of the DVLA area. Dan Pachobiabo.
Boko.
Yeah, some new be also what the saying. The Omukanye no cry and I say, and no cry.
Yo, the Omoka, a fire and a cray, a fast and a cranny, the woman said, a demand the Eden Ayaqueno, and name of a son. But Omoya Bibia, on my near, and yes, no more day, and trans an idea behind no, and take from because Esiano, Nipa in the how won't mean yet, will be so to car so many years. A friend of a racer, Nipa no, and Hinakofano. Cafes, no, my Aquama agent, no. Cabasi, no, Kenya, Cabet my agent, and the Cacobanano, Cabrebia, Cabia Sunim. Yes, no, one was sending Munka Cramaye, nay, agent, no, I, or Munim said, Timidea picture Boswa, and near Ghana card Boswa, a edgeman, BBC, yet to be Freya, Yahuano. Not on my Quania, yes, I don't know. Nadomo and the Edenia, Yaku and the intimate another denum. Intermediate the Betma cancer almost the same my no my agent in Yama, a bimrano be to me race a car because me my talk can manipa be Obia from Sobay, almost a no book, and I'm a my bay.
No son and sell business.
And send me business because I'm agent, me talk cast account. And they say we better talk man to raise someone, no watching about Abbey. And this over as I may talk come agent in there. Oh my aquama yet to me raise that. Can you money problem? And a higher pa.
I want you so bad, Alpha Cracker. I want you. I wanna say yes, I can't resist. I want you. Ooh, I want you, Alpha Cracker. I want you so bad, Alpha Cracker.
Don't me call one casa. Have a goodness rich in milk and butter in Alpha Cracker. Yummy and deliciously crunchy.
But I can't resist you.
Alpha Crackers, simply irresistible.
This advert is FDA approved.
And so I believe you've been following the success story of DVLA for some time now. As part of our reforms, our transformation to ensure that we have seamless integration with our systems, systems talking to each other, making sure that our services that we render to our general public are convenient for our clients and our stakeholders. So we've embarked on this journey. It didn't take an overnight, reform. It's been with us for some time. For the online vehicle registration system, we started this in 2017. 2017. We were doing this with the manual route of vehicle registration, and then over the period, we've come to a point where we think that the online vehicle registration is sustainable. I mentioned that in 2017, when we did this, we piloted the program, looking at how it will address the challenges that we've had with the manual system of vehicle registration, and we've been able to address these challenges during the time that we piloted the system. We've also done a lot more stakeholder engagements with our relevant stakeholders, the automobile dealers, the National Road Safety Authority, the transport operators, and then the fleet dealers and what have you. So we took into consideration most of the requests that came through, and then the challenges that we had in the past as far as the manual system of vehicle registration is concerned. Bear in mind, the manual system has been with us for a very long time, even before 1995 that we did the mass re-registration of vehicles in the system. Okay, we're doing the manual vehicle registration system, and things have changed over the period. So the online vehicle registration system has come to stay to ameliorate the challenges that our clients had to go through in vehicle registration. So as you all know, new systems, people certainly have concerns, okay, the fear of the known. Oh, what is this system going to do? How is it going to address our challenges? So people are still holding on to see how effective the system is going to be. So we are hopeful that over the period in time, a lot more people will be abreast to the systems that we've brought to bear. Yeah. If you look at the road traffic regulation, really it spells out the conditions, the requirements that we will require to register a vehicle. And for the licensing authority, DVLA for that matter, The processes within which we have reformed to register vehicles follows the law. Okay, so the platform in which we are using currently, the online vehicle registration platform that we have deployed, actually follows the law. And what does the law say in terms of vehicle registration? One, DVLA will have to examine the vehicle. So it means that the vehicle will have to be in the physical environment of the DVLA for us to, validate the vehicle to ensure that the vehicle meets the minimum required standards in terms of safety, conformity requirements, and its use. So once that is done, then we seek to authenticate or validate the true owner of the vehicle. By default, the importer of the vehicle is the owner of the vehicle. So if you import a vehicle into a country, be it a firm, a group of people, or an individual, you become, by default, the owner of the vehicle. And so we proceed to verify who the owner is. Okay? So if the owner so decides that we want to transfer ownership of the vehicle, it means that we have to register the vehicle in the name of the importer, and we proceed to transfer title of the vehicle to the prospective buyer. Again, the road traffic regulation requires that every owner of the vehicle, okay, we must register the information of the owner of the vehicle into the national database of the motor vehicle records. So once there's a sale, Regulation 17 requires that once there's a sale of a vehicle, or once that there's a transfer of ownership, the prospective owner will have to inform the licensing authority within 2 weeks of that transaction, right? So you realize that a lot more people have violated this specific regulation. And you hear stories that, oh, I bought a vehicle from the owner, and for 4 years, the prospective owner is yet to register the vehicle. The licensing authority was not brought, the attention of the licensing authority was not brought into this transaction for us to, validate or amend our records. So yes, those are the gaps that we've seen over the period when we started this system. And then the last thing that the law requires, that payment will have to be done. So for these 3 steps that I have actually outlined, for the online vehicle registration system, it gives the opportunity for the vehicle owner or the prospective owner to do 2 out of these activities online. It can be the comfort of your home or office. But the first and foremost is for the DVLA to examine the vehicle. That is what the DVLA will do in their respective offices or their authorized representatives. So that is how flexible the system has been built. So the gap in which I believe some of the stakeholders have brought to your attention is that, oh, we've bought the vehicles and DVLA is asking us to present the owner. It is for very good reasons. Because one, as an authority, it is the responsibility of the authority to protect the interests of, one, the importer of the vehicle, as well as the prospective owner of the vehicle. So it shouldn't be the case where a vehicle has been stolen and DVLA goes ahead to violate the regulation and then register the vehicle and transfer title to a prospective owner. Then we will not be doing our work as an authority. So it stands to reason that as an authority, one, we protect the interests of both parties in this regard. One, the one who is importing the vehicle into the country, and 2, the prospective owner who is buying the vehicle. So that is how come we proceed to validate both parties of this transaction to ensure that at least we stay true to our mandate as an authority. Sale of vehicle has become very complex quite recently. Okay, issues of stolen vehicles, issues of identity theft and false representation. They are all issues that we've seen in the past, and it is one of the reasons why, as an authority, okay, we had to integrate with other standalone, database. Remember the National Identity Database. That law was passed in 2012, and the LI 211 specifies that for every public institution that one will have to transact business in, when it comes to identity verification, you will require the use of the Ghana card. Okay, so as part of the reforms to ensure that we deal with the people who matter in these transactions, be it the importer, his authorized agent, and the prospective owner. Try to ensure that we do not encounter situations where fraud, because fraud vitiates every contract, right? Yes. So we have to ensure that all the parties represented are well identified. So in order to make the system very flawless, what we've done is we've integrated with the National Identity Register. So every person who matters in the transaction, be it the importer, be it the authorized person, be it the prospective owner, you will be verified biometrically. And the essential document that we will require is the use of the Ghana card. And because this is a requirement of the LI 2111. So once we are providing a service of vehicle registration and probably transfer of title, certainly you will require an identification. And the Ghana card happens to be the essential document for identity verification. Then again, we've also done some integration with GRA. And so once the vehicle is cleared from the port of entry or the frontier borders, once you've been cleared from the customs point of view, certainly once we put in your VIN number in our database, we're able to profile the vehicle. So the gap that you actually espouse, these are issues that the DVLA has to deal with. So we've had some engagement with them. Hopefully, we may have to resort to some court documentation to complement the custom entry document that they have, at least so to indemnify the DVLA for future claims whatsoever.
So that means
so that we can get
there are plans to ensure that
exactly. Okay. And why are we here at this time? Because vehicle registration didn't happen overnight. We've been registering vehicle for a period of time now, and this issue of I can't find the owner is not something that we've seen currently. But because we've migrated to electronic platform and the use of the Ghana card happens to be an essential document, that is why we are facing these challenges. We've had situations whereby importers have surfaced, we've identified them, they don't have the Ghana card. It means that they have to go get the Ghana card before we can admit them into the portal. We've had situations where importers are domiciled in a foreign country. And bear in mind, Ghana card is yet to tag base with people living in a foreign land. So this gap we've seen in the system. And so we are finding ways to bring them into the system, whereby probably they can scan their passports and provide an authority letter to go with. And then we can proceed with the registration of vehicle to the prospective buyers. So it's a new system, yes, but we've had its success stories, and there are a few gaps that obviously as an authority we will deal with to ensure that at least.
It's good to hear that at least you're making room for
certainly
some of the excesses and all that. I mean, it's 12 days into the year.
Certainly.
Like I mentioned earlier, I've not seen the 2024 number plates.
Unfortunately, but they are out.
They're out.
As I speak to you now, from the first working day of the year to date, a little over 9,000 vehicles have been registered. Hopefully across the country. Hopefully by the close of working day today, we may go beyond 10,000 mark. As a matter of fact, we started the new upgrade of the online vehicle registration in May last year. But as I mentioned, we were registering vehicles side by side with the manual route. In September last year, we decided to decommission the manual registration process. So we started 100% online vehicle registration in September. And September up to now, over 15,000 vehicles have been registered. You understand? So we've had success stories, and it's been quite exciting. We know there have been few challenges here and there, but as an authority, we listen to our stakeholders. And so hopefully by the close of this week, most of these small issues that we've faced with the system will be addressed. This system is very promising. I mentioned to you earlier that we started this journey some years back. As a matter of fact, DVLA started its transformation drive so many years ago. You remember our success story of on-site banking? Yes. We started this about 2004. We were one of the first institutions in the country that brought in on-site banking. Why did we do this? Because we wanted to make sure that we have a perfect system. We can never have a perfect system, but a system that is comfortable and convenient for our clients to go with. 2008, we started some activity as far as this online vehicle registration system is concerned. And then 2017, we had a full-blown online vehicle registration system. And that's how come in 2017 again, we also launched our digital driver's license card, one of its kind in the West Africa sub-region. So we are resolute that this system will come to solve most of the challenges that we had in the manual system. And to tell you the good news, now you don't need so many documents when you register a vehicle. All your documentation will be on a simple card to go with. And this is a card that has a contactless SIM in and is able to be verified with any system available. And then you have one sheet, certificate of title, to go with. So that is how beautiful the system has become. And we know that for any new system, certainly people will express some anxiety, some concerns. But with time, people will get used to the system and know the requirements that needs to go with when you want to register your vehicle. So the message that I want to leave with the viewing public, the listening public, the reading public is that if you are a vehicle owner, all right, or you are a prospective buyer, the onerous responsibility is you, the one purchasing the vehicle, to do what we call proper due diligence. Caveat emptor, buyer beware. You should know what you are going into. A lot more time, what we see is that people get too comfortable. I have my money, I want to drive a very big car. So they see the car, they part with their hard-earned money, they get a vehicle, and that is it. They don't pay too much attention to documentation. And at the end of the day, you realize that, oh, I bought a stolen vehicle. I bought a vehicle and there was a fraud in between. So we want to encourage people. If you want to buy a vehicle, you get a vehicle, you can go to any GRA office, customs office, let them verify the authenticity of the vehicle. Let's check whether there's no encumbrance on the vehicle. There are no outstanding duties and taxes that are yet to be paid. If you are cleared on that, go to any DVLA office. We want to find out, what do I need to do? What documentation do I need to come with if I want to register my vehicle? We'll walk you through the process. Then again, if a vehicle has already been registered with a license plate on and you want to purchase that vehicle, please and please again, come to any of the DVLA offices across the country, validate the status of the vehicle before you part with money. Oftentimes, what we see is that people part with the money and then they put the cart before the horse, they purchase the vehicle, and then they now come to the DVLA to authenticate the records, only to be told that that vehicle that you are driving, that license plate on that vehicle is a fake, it's a cloned vehicle. And then you want to find out the whereabouts of the vehicle, and then the person disappears into thin air. So we want to encourage prospective vehicle owners to do proper due diligence before they purchase vehicles. It's one of the reasons why we are where we are, because people have bought vehicles over the period of time, they didn't follow up with proper documentation, and now that they want to register the vehicles, we want to see who the owners are. We can't find the owners. But we'll be working with them to ensure that at least we'll meet them halfway through to get their vehicles registered. Then again, for existing vehicle owners, we're encouraging them to go to any DVLA office to validate the status of the vehicle. We want to find out whether your name is on the vehicle that you are driving. If you don't have your name on the vehicle, come over, let's help you to get the proper documentation into your name. As the law requires, once you own the vehicle, your name should be in the motor vehicle database. And it's for very good reasons, to protect you, the owner of the vehicle.
Now, there are two sides of the coin. The angry and happy stakeholders, car owners, as well as new drivers. And then also what the DVLA explains is the reason this new reform is the best for Ghana. And like the DVLA says, well, it's a new change and it will take some time for people to get used to the system. What do you think out there? My name is Eche Atisu. This has been Say It Loud on GhanaWeb TV. Until another time, be kind to one another.